Mira adjusted her simple gray uniform as she moved through the bright, glass-walled hall of the Laura's space tower. She carried a tray of drinks, her hands steady despite the nervous flutter in her stomach. The tower was enormous, stretching high into the sky of Nova Arc City, reflecting sunlight in sharp beams. Everywhere she looked, wealth glimmered. Smooth marble floors, hovering lights, and polished panels made her feel small, like a tiny gear in a gigantic machine. Her husband, Aaron, waited near the entrance. He had his usual calm expression, but she could see the quiet tension in his shoulders. Today was not just another catering job. Today, they were delivering an invitation to show their energy project to the Laura's family. A single meeting could change their lives. Mira and Aaron had spent years developing a sustainable energy solution, a project that could power entire colonies with minimal resources. It was elegant in design, simple in operation, but revolutionary. They had already impressed smaller investors, but the Laura's family could offer resources beyond anything they had ever imagined. 500 million credits were at stake. As Myra approached the grand hall, Laura's children were laughing, their voices echoing off the walls. The youngest, a girl with bright golden hair, waved a hand at Mira without even looking. Her older brother, a tall man in a crisp suit, frowned as he noticed her presence. He whispered something to his sister, and they both giggled. Myra's hands tightened around the tray. She had seen arrogance before, but the Laura's family's confidence felt different, almost untouchable. "Welcome," said a soft voice behind her. It was a staff member guiding her to the refreshments table. Mira nodded and moved carefully, placing the tray down. She could feel the Laura's family watching her, their eyes sharp but uninterested. It was strange. They were rich and powerful, yet they seemed bored by the simple work of a waitress. Aaron approached, holding a small data pad. "Mira," he whispered, "focus on the project. They may underestimate us, but this is our chance." "Hey," Mira nodded. She tried to smile, but it felt forced. She wanted the Laura's family to see more than her uniform, more than the drinks in her hands. She wanted them to notice her ideas. The gala began. Wealthy investors and officials moved around the hall, exchanging nods and polite words. Holographic projections of distant planets and advanced spacecraft floated above the guests. Mira marveled at the technology, but kept herself in the background. She served drinks efficiently, her mind racing through calculations and improvements she could suggest once the meeting began. At one point, the eldest Laura's son approached, his suit flawless, his voice sharp. "Is this the best service you can provide?" he asked, his eyes scanning the tray. Mira kept her hands steady and replied politely, "Yes, sir. Would you like a drink?" The young man smirked and walked away, leaving Mira's chest tight with frustration. She looked at Aaron, who raised a single eyebrow, silently asking if she was okay. She nodded, taking a deep breath. This was not about pride. This was about their future. Finally, the Laura's family called Aaron and Mira to their private hall. The walls were smooth crystal, the furniture elegant and minimal. Holographic panels displayed schematics of energy grids and starship engines. Myra's eyes widened. This was the moment they had worked for. "Show us what you have," said the eldest Laura's child, leaning back in his chair. His tone was casual, almost dismissive. But Aaron stepped forward confidently. "Our project," Aaron began, is designed to provide sustainable energy to colonies on distant planets. It uses minimal resources, and the energy output is higher than any existing model. It is safe, efficient, and easy to maintain. Mira added details, her voice steady. She explained the mechanics, the potential benefits for transportation, and how it could help colonies thrive without relying on massive fuel imports. The holographic projection shimmered as she manipulated it. Showing different models of the energy system, the Laura's children leaned forward slightly, curiosity flickering in their eyes. They asked technical questions, which Aaron answered calmly. Mira contributed to noting adjustments that could make the system even more efficient. The younger Laura's child finally looked impressed, a small smile forming, but not everyone was impressed. The eldest son leaned back again, crossing his arms. "Interesting, I suppose," he said. "But are you sure it can work on a large scale? Many have tried and failed. Yaron met his gaze steadily. We are confident. The system has been tested in multiple environments, and it has succeeded every time. We believe it can scale efficiently for entire colonies. Dolores' son raised an eyebrow but said nothing further. Myra felt a mixture of triumph and frustration. They had made an impression, but they had also encountered Dolores' arrogance firsthand. It was clear that winning their respect would not be easy. After the presentation, Myra and Aaron returned to their small apartment in Nova Arc. The streets below were busy with hover cars and pedestrians, neon signs reflecting off the buildings. Myra leaned against the window, looking at the city lights. Did we do enough? She asked quietly. Aaron smiled faintly. We did everything we could. The rest depends on them. But remember, Myra, we showed our skill, and skill cannot be ignored forever. Myra nodded, feeling the truth in his words. They had talent, and one day the world or even the galaxy would recognize it. That night, Myra dreamed not of wealth or fame, but of distant colonies lit by their energy systems. She imagined children reading under bright lights, families growing crops without worry, and entire cities thriving without the strain of limited power. In her dream, the Dolores family's arrogance seemed small, it's almost insignificant. Morning came, and with it, a message from the Dolores family. They requested a second meeting, this time in a larger hall, and hinted at a potential partnership. Myra's heart raced. The door to opportunity was opening, but she knew the path ahead would require patience, skill, and courage. As they prepared for the day, Myra and Aaron exchanged a glance. No matter how wealthy or powerful the Dolores family might be, they could not take away their ideas, their intelligence, or their determination. The galaxy was full of challenges, but it was also full of possibilities. The next morning, Myra woke before the city lights fully faded. Her small apartment felt quiet, but her mind buzzed with the possibilities from the Dolores meeting. The second invitation had arrived in the night, a request for them to present their project to the Dolores family in a much larger hall. Myra could feel the tension in the air, but she also felt excitement. This was the opportunity they had been waiting for. Aaron was already at the workbench, examining the energy system. Good morning, he said with a small smile. I thought we could run one final simulation before the meeting. Myra poured a cup of steaming herbal tea and joined him. The system hummed softly on the table, a series of holographic projections illuminating their focused faces. They had tested every scenario they could think of. But Myra's mind kept returning to one concern. The Dolores family is powerful, she said. They have space, engines, fleets, and colonies under their control. If we present this system, they might want to copy it or change it to suit themselves. We need to make sure they see the value of the design exactly as it is. Aaron nodded. I agree. That is why we focus on clarity and precision. Show them everything. If they truly want it, they will respect our work, not just the idea of power. Hours passed as they fine-tuned simulations, checking output levels, resource requirements, and maintenance protocols. Each adjustment made the system more efficient. By mid-afternoon, they were ready. The journey to the Dolores space tower was quiet. Myra and Aaron rode a sleek hover train above the city, watching the sprawling urban landscape shift below. Bright neon advertisements floated like clouds and automated drones zipped between buildings. Myra marveled at the advanced technology, but she reminded herself that progress was not just in wealth or machines. True progress was in ideas, in human creativity. When they arrived, the tower seemed even taller than the day before. The sunlight reflected off its crystal surfaces, creating a dazzling effect. A staff member guided them through the grand halls to the larger meeting room. Myra noticed that the room was filled with advanced technology. More holographic displays than the day before, with star maps, energy grids, and planetary schematics hovering in midair. The Dolores family was already there waiting. The eldest son sat at the head of the table, his expression calm but calculating. The younger daughter smiled politely, but Myra sensed that she, too, was trying to hide judgment. Aaron and Myra stepped forward, projecting confidence even as their nerves tightened. Welcome back, said the eldest son. We are curious to see what you have refined since our last meeting. Aaron nodded. We have made adjustments to optimize efficiency and scalability. This system can now provide stable energy output for entire colonies while using fewer resources than before. Mira will demonstrate the details. Mira's hands moved with precision as she manipulated the holographic projection. Energy flows were shown in bright lines, connecting planets, colonies, and stations. She highlighted key improvements, explaining how the system could adapt to different planetary environments as she spoke. Mira noticed something in the Laura's own systems. A small anomaly appeared in one of their engine schematics on the holographic display. It was subtle, a tiny inefficiency that could cause major problems if it went unnoticed. She leaned closer, analyzing the pattern. "Aaron," she whispered, "look at their engine design. There is a small flaw in the energy conversion unit. If it runs at full capacity for extended periods, it could destabilize the output." Aaron's eyes widened. "You are right. That could be dangerous." "Do you think they know?" Mira shook her head. "I doubt it. They have the resources to maintain power, but arrogance often hides small mistakes. If we show them carefully, they might realize we understand more than they think." The presentation continued. The Laura's family asked technical questions, and Mira answered each one with clarity, never showing that she had discovered their flaw. Their curiosity grew, and for a moment, Mira felt a small spark of hope that talent could surpass privilege. After the formal demonstration, the Laura's eldest son leaned back, his expression thoughtful. "Impressive work. You have improved since your last visit. We will consider your project for future collaboration." Mira and Aaron nodded politely, hiding the excitement that threatened to spill. They had done more than present their system. They had also discovered the hidden flaw in the Laura's own project. Knowledge like that was power, and Mira knew it could shape the future if used wisely. Once they returned home, Mira could not stop thinking about what she had seen. The flaw in the Laura's system was not immediately dangerous, but it could cause serious problems if ignored. "We should document it," she said. "Not to use against them, but to make sure it is corrected. The galaxy depends on safe energy systems," Aaron smiled. "That is why we respect science and innovation. We use knowledge to create, not to destroy. But we can leverage this to show how valuable our ideas are." For the next several days, Mira and Aaron worked tirelessly. They refined their calculations, tested the simulations, and documented the flaw in the Laura's system with precision. They did not intend to expose it recklessly. Instead, they prepared a careful presentation that could be used to improve safety and efficiency. Meanwhile, news of their project spread quietly through investor networks. Small investors who had seen the first demonstration shared details of the energy system. Mira and Aaron received private messages expressing interest, asking for more information, and offering support. The galaxy was watching, though most did not know the Laura's family's wealth and influence. One evening, Mira looked at Aaron with a thoughtful expression. "Do you think the Laura's family will take it well if we point out the flaw?" Aaron considered. "They may be proud, but any intelligent family will understand. If we present it as a collaborative improvement, not criticism, it will show that we care about progress. It's not just competition." Mira nodded. She felt a sense of purpose growing. This was no longer just about investment or fame. It was about responsibility. Technology could change lives, but only if handled with care and respect. The next meeting with the Laura's family arrived faster than expected. Mira and Aaron entered the grand hall once again, ready to present their findings. The eldest son's expression was calm, but his eyes were sharp. He noticed Mira's presence with a faint flicker of surprise, as if realizing she had more knowledge than he expected. Aaron began. "We have refined our system further and discovered areas where energy conversion can be optimized in similar projects. In your system, we noticed a minor inefficiency that could be improved to enhance stability." Mira demonstrated the anomaly with tact and clarity, showing how a small adjustment could increase performance. She spoke carefully, emphasizing collaboration and improvement. The eldest son paused, then leaned forward. "You have knowledge beyond what we expected. This is rare." Mira felt her pulse quicken. She had not expected praise, only recognition of the problem. But the eldest son's words carried weight. In that moment, the Loras family saw not just a young engineer, but someone whose talent could influence projects on a galactic scale. After the presentation, the younger daughter approached Mira. "You have a gift," she said quietly. "Few people can see what you see. It is remarkable." Mira smiled, feeling a warmth that had little to do with money or prestige. Recognition of talent, respect for ideas, and the potential to improve the galaxy mattered more than anything else. When they returned home that evening, Myra and Aaron celebrated quietly. The galaxy was vast, full of unknown challenges, but they had proven that skill, knowledge, and determination could overcome arrogance and ignorance. Mira looked out at the city lights, imagining the colonies that would one day rely on their energy systems. Children would read under bright, safe lights. Families would grow food without worry. Ships would travel between stars with dependable energy, and somewhere in the Loras space tower, the family that had underestimated them was beginning to see a new truth: intelligence. Dedication and humility were worth more than wealth alone. Mira felt a calm confidence. They had taken the first step toward changing the galaxy, and this step would not be forgotten. The next day would bring new challenges. But Myra knew that knowledge, skill, and courage would guide them. For the first time, she realized that even the most powerful families could learn, adapt, and respect those who had the vision to make the impossible possible. The weeks following Mira and Aaron's careful negotiations passed quickly. The Loras family began implementing the improvements suggested by the couple. Their energy engines, once flawed in subtle ways, now operated with remarkable efficiency. Colonies that relied on the Loras systems began to experience smoother power distribution, fewer maintenance delays, and higher output. Mira and Aaron monitored the data closely from their apartment in Nova Arc. Holographic projections filled the room, displaying energy flows across distant worlds. Mira adjusted variables, and Aaron reviewed reports from engineers on different colonies. It was thrilling to see the tangible effects of their knowledge and collaboration. "This is incredible," Mira said, pointing to a projection of a colony orbiting a distant star. "Look at how the system stabilizes energy across all stations. Without the adjustments, the output would have been uneven and risky." Aaron nodded. "And it proves our point. Knowledge and skill matter more than wealth or status." Even the Loras family, with all their resources, benefited from collaboration. Back at the Loras space tower, the family was beginning to realize how much Myra and Aaron had changed the situation. The eldest son, who had initially been dismissive, now met them with curiosity and respect. He attended demonstrations personally, asking detailed questions, and even acknowledging when Mira or Aaron offered better solutions. "You have transformed the way we view energy management," he said one morning. "Your approach is careful, logical, and effective. I underestimated the value of talent outside of traditional power structures." Mira felt a quiet satisfaction. It was not praise she sought, but recognition that human ingenuity could surpass assumptions about status or privilege. She understood that influence was not merely about money or title, but about ideas, its ethics, and perseverance. The Loras family decided to extend Mira and Aaron's project to more colonies. With this expansion, the couple faced new challenges. Each world had unique conditions, different gravity levels, atmospheric compositions, and local energy demands. Mira spent long hours running simulations and designing adjustments specific to each planet. Aaron coordinated with engineers across the galaxy, ensuring that every modification maintained safety and efficiency. One evening, as Mira reviewed the data, she noticed something unexpected. One of the Loras' older engines, previously operating without issue, was showing minor instability in power output on a colony far from Nova Arc. She traced the problem to a small oversight in calibration. "Aaron," she said, calling him over, "this engine is unstable. It is not dangerous yet, but if it runs at full capacity, it could affect the colony's energy distribution." "You are right. We need to provide a solution before the colony experiences any interruption. Let's create a plan and send it immediately. Mira and Aaron worked through the night, adjusting parameters and creating clear instructions for the engineers on the distant colony. By morning, the issue had been resolved remotely. The system was now stable, efficient, and even stronger than before. When they reported the correction to the Loras family, the eldest son smiled with genuine appreciation. You have not only improved our system, but have also demonstrated responsibility and foresight. Your contribution is invaluable. Mira realized that their work had consequences far beyond personal gain. By applying careful thought and intelligence, they were shaping entire colonies' energy infrastructure. They were creating stability, efficiency, and safety for thousands of people. The satisfaction of knowing that their efforts mattered was far greater than any reward. The Loras family began to offer further support, providing advanced engineering tools, access to experimental technologies, and permission to establish training programs for local engineers on distant worlds. Mira and Aaron used these resources to teach, mentor, and share knowledge. Their goal was not only to provide energy systems, but also to empower others with the skills to innovate responsibly. One day, Mira and Aaron received a message from a colony they had never visited. The governor wrote that the energy system had allowed the planet's agriculture and research programs to expand beyond expectations. Children now had consistent lighting for schools. Scientists could power laboratories without interruption, and families enjoyed reliable energy for their homes. The message expressed gratitude and admiration for the couple's dedication. Mira felt her heart swell with pride. This was what they had worked for, not recognition, not wealth, the chance to make a difference for entire worlds. Meanwhile, the Loras family continued to adapt. They had begun to see that collaboration with skilled individuals, regardless of background, resulted in better outcomes than relying solely on wealth or authority. The eldest son, who had once doubted Mira and Aaron, now publicly credited them for improving his family's technology. The younger daughter, who had initially been curious but reserved, began participating more actively in the project. She asked thoughtful questions, suggested ideas, and showed respect for Mira and Aaron's knowledge. Together, the family and the couple were forming a partnership that combined resources, insight, and skill. One evening, as Mira and Aaron reviewed the latest updates from multiple colonies, Mira said, "Aaron, look at this. Each adjustment we made has increased efficiency by nearly 15% across all systems. That is more than we expected." Aaron smiled. "And it shows the value of careful planning, knowledge, and collaboration. Even the wealthiest family could not achieve this alone. We all grew because we shared ideas and skills." Mira nodded. "It is proof that humans, when thoughtful and responsible, can overcome challenges that no single person or family can handle alone." The consequences of their work were not only practical, but also symbolic. Word spread across the galaxy about the young couple who had improved the most advanced energy systems. It's not through money or authority, but through intelligence, careful observation, and ethical responsibility. Scientists, engineers, and administrators began seeking their guidance, recognizing the importance of combining skill with integrity as their reputation grew. Mira and Aaron received invitations to advise new colonies, assist in the design of infrastructure, and mentor young engineers. Each opportunity reinforced their belief that the future of humanity depended on knowledge, collaboration, and ethical innovation. One day, Mira received a personal message from the governor of a remote colony. "Your system has transformed life here," the message read. "We now have reliable energy for hospitals, schools, and research stations. Your work proves that human ingenuity can change the galaxy." Mira showed the message to Aaron. "This is what it is all about," she said softly. "Not fame, not wealth, but the chance to help others and make life better across the stars." Aaron nodded. "We are just beginning. The galaxy is full of challenges, but we have shown that skill, ethics, and courage can guide progress. That is more powerful than anything else." Back at the Loras Space Tower, The family continued to adapt their approach. They now consulted Mira and Aaron on major decisions, accepted suggestions without resistance, and acknowledged the importance of talent regardless of status. The consequences of underestimating skill and knowledge had become clear. Wealth and power were valuable, but they were most effective. When combined with respect for intelligence and careful planning, Mira realized that this lesson extended beyond technology. It applied to leadership, governance, and human potential. Any person, regardless of background, could contribute to progress if given the opportunity and treated with respect. That realization filled her with hope and determination. As weeks turned into months, Mira and Aaron's energy system expanded to even more colonies. Each implementation taught them new lessons about adaptation, communication, and collaboration. They discovered that challenges were opportunities to improve, and that respect for knowledge could unite people across vast distances. The Laura's family, once dismissive and arrogant, had become true partners in the endeavor. They acknowledged Mira and Aaron's expertise and demonstrated that even the most influential could learn, grow, and adapt when guided by skill and intelligence. Mira and Aaron often reflected on how far they had come. From serving drinks at a lavish gala to guiding energy systems across the galaxy, they had proven that intelligence, responsibility, and collaboration were more powerful than wealth or status alone. One evening, as they watched the stars twinkle above Nova Arc, Mira said, "Aaron, it is incredible to think about how many lives we have touched already, and this is just the beginning. The galaxy has so much potential, and we can help it grow safely and efficiently." Aaron smiled and placed a hand over hers. "We have learned that consequences are not always immediate. Our work creates ripple effects, and the impact will continue to grow as more people embrace knowledge, responsibility, and collaboration. That is the true measure of influence." Ira felt a deep sense of fulfillment. They had not only corrected flaws and improved systems, but they had also shown that humans could rise to challenges through intelligence, patience, and ethics. The galaxy was beginning to recognize their value, not because of money or power, but because of skill, insight, and the courage to do what was right. And Mira and Aaron knew that their journey was far from over. The galaxy still held countless challenges, colonies to reach, and systems to improve. The galaxy had grown brighter over the past months. Mira and Aaron's energy system now powered colonies scattered across distant stars. Each installation was a testament to their skill, dedication, and careful planning. From bustling research stations to quiet agricultural worlds, their influence reached far beyond what they had ever imagined. In Nova Arc, the city lights sparkled with a new brilliance. Citizens moved along the streets, hover vehicles gliding smoothly between towers. Holographic signs advertised scientific discoveries and technological innovations. Mira stood on the balcony of their small apartment, looking down at the city below. It was easy to forget that not long ago. They had been preparing their first demonstration for the Laura's family. Aaron joined her, holding a tablet with the latest data from a colony near the edge of the system. "Look at this," he said, pointing to a projection of energy flows across the planet. "The system is stable and efficient even under high demand. Schools, hospitals, farms, and transportation grids are all running smoothly. It is amazing to see the impact. Every adjustment we made, every small improvement, is helping people live better lives. This is more important than any contract or reward." Their thoughts were interrupted by a message. From the Laura's space tower, the eldest son requested a meeting to discuss further collaboration. Mira and Aaron exchanged a glance. The partnership had grown stronger, but this meeting promised something new. Upon arrival at the tower, they were greeted with warmth and respect. The Laura's family had changed. The eldest son, once dismissive, now approached with genuine interest in their work. The younger daughter had become an active participant, asking questions, offering suggestions, and demonstrating a respect for skill that had been absent before. "You have shown remarkable foresight and skill," the eldest son said. "Your system has transformed multiple colonies. Your contributions demonstrate that talent." and intelligence can guide progress more effectively than wealth or influence alone. Mira nodded, feeling a quiet pride. They had started as a small team with a powerful idea, and now their vision was guiding entire worlds. The Loras family, despite their vast resources, had learned an important lesson. Success depended on collaboration, humility, and the recognition of skill, no matter the source. The meeting continued for hours. Mira and Aaron discussed plans for expanding their system to new colonies, integrating advanced technologies, and mentoring local engineers. They proposed training programs, educational initiatives, and research projects to ensure that the knowledge they had developed would continue to grow and evolve. By the end of the discussion, the Loras family fully agreed to a partnership in which Mira and Aaron retained technical leadership while the family provided resources and support. It was a balance of influence and skill, showing that cooperation between talent and resources could create something far greater than either could achieve alone. As they left the tower, Mira turned to Aaron. "Do you realize what we have accomplished? Not just with energy systems, but with how people see human potential." Aaron smiled. "Yes, we have shown that intelligence, ethics, and dedication can shape the future. We are creating a model for how humans can lead responsibly and wisely." Over the next months, the couple traveled to new colonies, demonstrating their energy system and providing guidance to local engineers. Mira's careful planning and Aaron's coordination ensured that each installation was efficient, safe, and adaptable to the planet's conditions. They encountered challenges from unpredictable weather patterns to unexpected energy demands, but each obstacle was an opportunity to refine their system and mentor others. One colony, situated on a desert world with minimal natural resources, presented a particularly difficult challenge. Energy demand was high, and local materials were scarce. Mira worked tirelessly, adjusting energy converters, rerouting power flows, and designing storage systems that could handle fluctuations. Aaron coordinated with engineers on site, training them to maintain and monitor the system. After several weeks, the system was operational, exceeding expectations. Farms flourished with reliable irrigation, schools had consistent lighting, and medical facilities operated without interruption. The colony governor sent a message expressing deep gratitude, emphasizing the difference Mira and Aaron's system had made in improving quality of life. Mira read the message aloud to Aaron. "This is why we do what we do. Our work matters beyond profits or recognition. It touches lives directly." Aaron nodded, "And it will continue to do so as long as we maintain our principles and share knowledge responsibly." As news of their successes spread, other influential families and organizations began to seek their guidance. Investors, scientists, and leaders recognized the value of their approach, combining intelligence, ethics, and skill to solve complex problems. Mira and Aaron's reputation grew not because of wealth or fame, but because their work produced tangible improvements for humanity. Back on Nova Arc, they were invited to speak at the Galactic Innovation Council. The council included representatives from dozens of colonies and organizations. Mira and Aaron shared their experiences, the lessons they had learned, and the importance of collaboration, responsibility, and careful planning in shaping a sustainable future. "You have demonstrated that humans can rise to challenges and lead responsibly," council members said. "Your work is an example of how knowledge and skill can guide progress across the galaxy." Mira felt a sense of fulfillment. They had started with a simple idea and a small demonstration, and now their influence was shaping multiple worlds. The council recognized that progress required more than wealth or authority. It required intelligence, patience, and ethical decision-making. The Loras family, who attended the council meeting, publicly acknowledged Mira and Aaron's contributions. They praised the couple for their foresight, skill, and integrity, setting an example for other influential families to follow. Mira realized that the family had grown as much as the system itself. They had learned to value talent and collaboration over status and privilege. One evening, Mira and Aaron stood on the balcony of their apartment, overlooking the glowing city. The sky was filled with stars, each representing a potential colony or world that could benefit from their work. Mira took a deep breath. "Aaron," she said, "we have done more than improve energy systems. We have shown the galaxy what humans can do when intelligence, ethics, and collaboration lead the way." Aaron smiled. "And we will continue to do so. There are countless worlds to reach, countless challenges to solve. The galaxy needs people who value skill, knowledge, and responsibility. We can inspire others to rise to those challenges." The following months were a whirlwind of activity. Mira and Aaron oversaw new installations, trained engineers, and expanded educational programs. Their energy system became a standard for reliability, efficiency, and adaptability. Colonies once struggling with limited resources now thrived under stable, safe energy. The ripple effect of their work extended across planets, star systems, and populations. In one distant colony, a young engineer named Rena approached Mira with curiosity and determination. "Your work has inspired me," she said. "I want to develop systems that help my world grow safely and efficiently, just like you and Aaron have done." Mira smiled, seeing the spark of potential. "That is exactly what we hope for. Knowledge should not be confined to one person or team. It should grow, evolve, and be shared responsibly. You are the next generation, and the galaxy depends on your creativity and care." As Mira and Aaron traveled from colony to colony, they noticed a pattern. Wherever their system was implemented, communities flourished, and engineers grew in confidence and skill. People began to value collaboration, innovation, and ethical responsibility over status or wealth. The galaxy was changing, guided by intelligence, care, and human ingenuity. Even the Loras family had fully embraced this lesson. They no longer relied solely on wealth or influence. Instead, they consulted with skilled individuals, respected talent, and contributed resources to initiatives that promoted progress and safety. Mira and Aaron's example had reshaped their perspective and actions. One evening, Mira and Aaron stood together on a distant observation deck overlooking a newly established colony. The sun was setting, casting warm light across vast fields, bustling research stations, and newly constructed habitats. Children played, scientists conducted experiments, and families lived comfortably thanks to stable energy systems. Mira turned to Aaron. "Do you see what we have done? This is the result of careful planning, knowledge, and responsibility. We have shown what humans can achieve when talent and ethics guide progress." Aaron nodded. "And it will continue. Every engineer we train, every system we improve, every colony we help, multiplies the impact. Human potential is limitless when guided by intelligence and care." Aaron smiled, thinking about the journey that had brought them here. From serving drinks at a gala to influencing the future of entire worlds. They had proven that determination, skill, and ethical leadership could shape the galaxy in the months that followed. Their energy system became widely recognized as a model for human innovation. Educational programs flourished. Engineers across multiple colonies adopted their methods, and collaborative approaches to problem-solving became standard. Days passed since Mira and Aaron's presentation to the Loras family. The city of Nova Arc sparkled under the sun, its hover vehicles weaving between towering buildings and holographic advertisements shimmering in bright colors. Mira could not help but notice that the city seemed alive with possibility, a reflection of the energy and innovation that flowed through the lives of its people. At home, Mira and Aaron sat at their small table, drinking tea as the late afternoon sun filtered through the window. The Loras family had sent a message, inviting them for further discussion. The tone was polite but careful, almost cautious. Mira knew this meant that the family had recognized their skill, and now it was time to decide how to move forward. "Aaron," Mira said thoughtfully, "we have one choice. We can go to them, hoping for a fair partnership, or we can take the system to the council and other investors ourselves. Both paths are risky, but one might let us keep control of the project." Aaron leaned back, thinking carefully. We need to consider the galaxy, not just our own success. The Loris family has power, yes, but they also have influence. If we guide them, we can make a difference. If we act alone, our system may spread slower, but we maintain independence. Yeah. Mira nodded, considering the balance. Power could be useful, but control of their ideas was just as important. She thought about the flaw in the Laura's energy engine. That small discovery had reminded her that even the richest and most powerful could make mistakes. It also reminded her that knowledge, skill, careful planning were more important than wealth. After hours of discussion, they made their decision. They would meet the Loris family, but on their own terms. They would show respect and collaboration, but they would not give up control of their project. They would demonstrate that true innovation came from intelligence, patience, and careful thinking. The day of the meeting arrived. Mira and Aaron entered the Loris space tower, feeling calm but focused. The grand hall was more impressive than ever, filled with holographic maps, floating data panels, and polished metal surfaces that reflected the light like mirrors. The Loris family greeted them politely. This time, there was no dismissive attitude, no hidden laughter. They were curious and cautious, and Mira understood that they had realized the couple's true value. "We have considered your project carefully," said the eldest Laura's son. "Your ideas are impressive, and your approach is unique. We would like to discuss a partnership." Aaron and Mira listened as the eldest son outlined a proposal. The Loris family offered resources, technology, and access to colonies that would allow Mira and Aaron's system to reach far more people than they could alone. However, there was one condition. The Loris family wanted the ability to make changes to the system without consulting
Myra and Aaron?
In every decision, Myra exchanged a glance with Aaron. She felt a small twinge of concern. The offer was generous, but it came at the cost of full control. The system they had spent years perfecting might be altered in ways they could not approve. "Thank you," Aaron said carefully. "Your offer is generous, but our priority is the safety and efficiency of the system. We must ensure that every implementation follows our design principles." The eldest son paused, then smiled faintly. "I understand. You value your work. That is rare. We may be able to find a compromise." Mira and Aaron spent hours negotiating. They suggested a joint approach, where the Loris family could provide resources and colonies. But all technical decisions would go through Mira and Aaron. The eldest son listened carefully. And for the first time, Mira saw him respect not only their skill, but also their judgment. After the meeting, Mira and Aaron returned home. The sun was setting, painting the city in shades of orange and gold. Mira felt a sense of satisfaction. They had not compromised their principles. They had proven that skill and intelligence could guide even the wealthiest and most powerful. Over the next week, they prepared for the next step, presenting their refined system to other investors and the Galactic Council. They knew the Loris family had influence, but they also knew that many others would recognize the value of their ideas. They wanted to create a network of support, a group that valued progress, safety, and innovation above all else. During this time, continued to observe the Laura's energy system. She noticed the same flaws before, and she began thinking about how to correct it. Instead of seeing it as a way to gain advantage, she treated it as a problem to solve for the greater good. She calculated different methods of improvement, running simulations and testing solutions with Aaron. One evening, Myra said, "If we correct this flaw, it could prevent serious problems for colonies that rely on this energy. We could show the Loris family that collaboration leads to better results for everyone." Aaron nodded. "And it will show that true influence is not about wealth or power. It is about using knowledge wisely. That is the lesson we must share." Together, they created a careful proposal. It highlighted the flaw in the Laura's system, suggested a solution, and explained why their method was more reliable. They phrased it respectfully, emphasizing collaboration and shared success rather than criticism. When they presented it to the Loris family, the reaction was thoughtful. The eldest son listened carefully, asking questions and considering the adjustments. Mira realized that respect and knowledge could shape even the most powerful minds. She felt a deep satisfaction in knowing that intelligence and dedication could guide change without confrontation. With the flaw corrected, the Loras family became more supportive. They offered additional resources and access to distant colonies. Recognizing the value of working with Mira and Aaron, the couple's influence grew. Not because of money or status, but because of skill, ethics, and careful planning. Meanwhile, word of their energy system spread quietly across the galaxy. Small colonies, investors, and scientists began to notice the innovative design. Mira and Aaron received messages of interest from distant worlds, asking for presentations and guidance. The network they had hoped for was beginning to take shape. One night, Mira and Aaron stood on the balcony of their apartment. Looking at the lights of Nova Arc, the city below seemed alive with energy. But Mira thought about the colonies that would benefit from their system. She felt a sense of pride and responsibility. "Aaron," she said, "we are not just creating energy. We are helping the galaxy grow safely and efficiently. That is bigger than any contract or reward." Aaron smiled. "And that is why we will succeed. The galaxy values ideas, skill, and responsibility. We have both. That is more powerful than anything money can buy." Myra felt a quiet determination. The Loras family had underestimated them at first, but now they were partners, and the system was stronger than ever. They had made a decision that would shape the future, and they had done it with patience, knowledge, and integrity. The following weeks were filled with preparation. Mira and Aaron traveled to other colonies, demonstrating their system, answering questions, teaching engineers how to implement it safely. Each interaction strengthened their reputation, proving that humans could innovate, lead, and collaborate across the galaxy. Back at the Loras Space Tower, the eldest son and younger daughter began to see the wisdom of the couple's approach. The flaw correction had not only improved their engines, but also demonstrated the importance of listening to talent, regardless of background or status. Mira and Aaron had shown that intelligence and responsibility were forces more powerful than wealth alone. By the time Mira and Aaron returned to Nova Arc, they had gained recognition from multiple colonies. Their network of support was growing, and their system was gaining acceptance as a model of innovation, safety, and efficiency. Mira realized that the galaxy could change not through dominance or money, but through careful thought, collaboration, and the courage to uphold principles. One evening, as they reviewed data from their latest demonstration, Mira smiled at Aaron. "We made the right decision. We trusted our knowledge, our skill, and each other. And the galaxy is noticing." Aaron nodded. "This is only the beginning. There will be more challenges, but we are ready. Together, we can show that human ingenuity and responsibility can shape the future." Mira looked at the stars beyond Nova Arc, imagining the colonies that would benefit from their system. She thought about the children reading under safe lights, the families growing food efficiently, and the ships traveling between worlds without fear of power shortages. She felt proud, not because of wealth or recognition, but because they were making a real difference. And in that moment, Myra and Aaron understood a truth that would guide them for years to come. True power comes not from wealth or influence, but from knowledge, skill, and the courage to do what is right.